All right. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to talk with you today about the book Living with Grace and the upcoming super exciting celebratory event, Graceful Re-Emergence after 2 years. And a friend of mine in Germany, Meilin she can't be with us live. So we decided that we were going to record it. And I have no idea what the magic that we're going to be talking about, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get started. Before I hit record, she's actually already all excited about what she wants to share. So welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Thanks, Marita, for playing with me.
Yeah.
The cat girls. Yeah, you know, cats, as we're talking about cats and the importance of our relationship to cats, cats are always the beings that catapulted me forward or off a plateau, I said, even say, right? And moved me to different continents and countries. But one of the biggest things the cats helped me is to go the shamanic route. And I once started out with shamanism for animals because of my cats. And look, Puccini's meowing.
She's got something that she's like, we know that she knows, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And they're always there for me. And yeah, so that journey went on. I went more into the healing, learned more about the gifts that I carry because, again, of my cats. And in any moment, they're here for me. And even when I had my radio show, exactly this would happen. I would open the door or let them in and out, and they knew what kind of wisdom needed to be spoken about. Like Puccini is more the physical shaman. He likes to be physically on the places that got to be healed then or transformed on the show,
Right.
or even with the client. And Judy, she was the one who was more the Star Nation one. She would come in if it was very galactic.
Wow, isn't that
The sounds
exciting?
that
It's
came, and
so
they knew, they are very in tune. And I remember, because of my cat stories, we two connected so quickly and so deeply.
Yes, you were mentioning that you would sing songs.
Yeah. You know, when I started out, I was, just a mother of a young one. And I just followed the flow. I didn't think where it would lead me. But what I've learned, I was then always at places where an animal would pass. And
Mm.
just before, and people would invite me and say, Meilin, you sing, could you sing a song for us? And what happened, I would sing a song just before they would pass on, mostly a day before. And in the presence of the animal, sounded something that both became comfortable. They could say goodbye in a different way. They could cherish each other. And I sometimes thought it was also for the animal important
Of
to always
course.
let the human know, yeah,
Yes. Yes.
the human companion, that it's okay, that they will be with them always. It's harder for people to believe that they will be still in contact with the deceased, no, not even deceased, but the animal that passed on.
Yeah, right. I think it's almost like, well, I know with me and with Grace, she became larger than life the closer that I mean, I was like ripped to shreds, but the closer that she came to death, and then once she had crossed over, she became larger than life. And she is like so excited about this party. I have my computer on this little stand, and she's like, but I need all my things. And like when I did, before COVID and we were doing live events, I would have, the table set up, and she loves this heartstone.
Beautiful stuff.
And so it's underneath here. And she loves these sacred geometry, kind of like, this is a paperweight, but she loves this kind of stuff. And so So I've got that going on. She's all excited. And Aria, she's over there, is like, she's knows something's up and she's kind of jealous. She's
Ooh.
been she's been kind of clingy, It's like, honey, we're just all one big family. So if you give them the space to be the being they are, they will have a relationship with you. And it's so crazy. It's cool. It's super, super cool.
Yeah, it is the relationship when they're living. I always invite people to see them vaster than they are. When
Mm-hmm.
they think possibly could be the relationship, goes even further and further. And I saw it the most, the relationship between a cat and a person then on with my son. Since he picked this one cat, they fell in love with each other. She really made attention that she would be, there was Judy, that Tilo would see her, and became friends, and that's the cat that went home with us, right? And they had a strong connection with each other. Barely words were exchanged. A young child of 3.5 doesn't say much, but that stayed over and over. And also, she was a run over, so it was a quick death, so
Yeah.
more abrupt. And
Yeah.
luckily someone found her and we could at least say goodbye and see her. That's why your book helped me so much, because I have given so much grief, and I'm there for people when they grieve in their life. And
Mm-hmm.
your book was then there for me.
That's so
And
nice.
I really love that it was just a simple ones, because Grace, she's a calico cat. I read a book about a calico cat that started my journey into the healing and shamanism. So it was always these little hints or these little sayings that I had said throughout my life appeared in your book. I said, you know,
Oh my God, that's so
yeah, the
cool.
little reminders. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly, I spoke about that. So that always helped me. I did not read it in one setting. I had really to, it had to be the perfect time. And I only read one chapter and I took my time. And you always so beautifully invite everyone at the end of each chapter to do a little exercise or to go into contemplation. And
Mm-hmm.
I really use that time to see also how vast my life is,
Mm-hmm.
and to remember moments where it was grander than we're told it would be possible. Like again with my son, they knew when each other they needed each other, or they were telepathic with each other. And I thought, yeah, genau, this is how it is. And then when Judy died, it's like with your second, he took over Judy's role a little bit, because now he
Yeah.
became more cuddly and with my son, and was there for him, a little bit more playful with him, which was not normally his role. I thought, oh my God, look how beautiful. He's
Mm-hmm.
bonding on a deeper level there too.
Well, I think the relationship with like a multi-animal family is the like the almost the jockeying for who's got mama's attention more than do I have it more than you do, that kind of thing. I had interestingly, shortly after the book came out, my ex-husband died, and he had taken one of Grace's surrogate kittens. So not one of her kittens, but she was surrogate, which is mentioned briefly. I didn't want to get too complicated, but it's mentioned briefly in the book. And he was so worried about her. He kept asking about her. And I finally I put my hand on his leg, and he was in the hospital bed, and I looked right at him and I said, I will take her. And he never mentioned it again. You could see him visually relax, and he never mentioned it again. And that's a whole nother story, but they fight and they play and they jockey. And Arya's kind of mad. You're like, who are you? And now I was the queen bee after mom died. And now who are you? And Zoe's like, I'm just here, and she's finally, after I got her, he died a month before our lockdown here in the US. So she's finally, after almost 2 years, very at home and very comfortable and, that kind of thing. So I'm watching them interact and decide, who's the alpha, right?
Yeah, the dynamics change, the dynamics.
Yeah.
And also, as we transform and heal and go through our own suffering, right?
Yeah.
You had a loss. She had a loss. New members, so they're different rhythms, but also during our grief or transformation that we experience ourselves because of that, we need different things. So everyone has to really adjust on a regular basis, and that's sometimes not so easy. And it's beautiful to hear, Marita, that you are so open and create such a safe haven for everyone to live through those emotions. Yeah, to live through it, to live through this emotion, to live through this transformation that happens.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, one of the pieces of wisdom that Grace shared was that, every choice that we make is a letting go of what we don't choose. And it sounds so simple, but it really is like a quantum physics kind of principle, right? I remember the first time I heard the principle of the quantum physics of, the wave and the particle, and everything is a wave. The moment you make a choice, all of the other ones go away. All of the other ones at that moment go away, because if you make that same choice tomorrow, it's not the same, right? Because things have already changed. So she was a little one with lots of wisdom. And the woman that helped us through that, the animal communicator, Kristen Scanlon, she repeatedly, and she's like, every time I tune into Grace, I'm in awe of how wise she is. So that's something that we're going to do during the event, is we're going to have an Ask Grace Anything.
Ooh, that's a beautiful idea.
Yeah. So we're going to have, it's going to be Zoom, and we're going to have people ask Grace anything, and Grace will get to have her voice. And so she's excited about that.
Yeah, because then people listen. So it's too sad that we have to think about death and, then understand that there is a vastness to everything existing, everyone existing. One of my biggest wishes is that we understand that it's already here right now. So even a living cat is vast. And Marita, you as a person, you're so vast. So we all have that wisdom with ourselves, and too often we push it aside, or we do not give opportunity. Respect is the wrong word, to an animal.
Credence. We don't give them
There's too much of a little bit judgment on it, because it's cultural, right? Animals were used for a very, very long time as a usage animal. And so I'm happy that this is slowly changing, and you are showing people that they can also learn so much from other beings.
Yeah.
Because it's the same wisdom, right? Once we are in the infinite, it is all one. The wisdom of a tree has the same weight as the wisdom of an animal, and the same weight of a human being or an angel.
Yes, exactly. I have one last question, and maybe you have experience or not with that, but one of the biggest questions I had as I was looking at the finished book was, how can this book help people who are going through loss of a human? Do you have an opinion about how the book could help someone who has maybe lost someone during the pandemic, or is in the process of watching someone cross over? How can the book help them?
It's an abstract. It's like a metaphor, your book. It's easier to believe. So it puts it in two different categories. It puts a little bit of an animal, I would not say like a story, right? A metaphoric story we're used to, what's the word? It's not novel, parables,
Terrible.
oder? Where they use animals to tell
Yeah.
something. So once people have read this book and said, oh yeah, that's possible, in that moment, they know the truth that it's possible, and they know it's possible to have the same relationship to the one they just lost, the person,
Yeah.
and build up the communication, the telepathy,
Yeah.
right? Or the openness to hear or feel and become more aware, or trust their own instinct, their own knowing when there are signs or communication happening with them.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I had not thought of that, but that's true. It's true. And it's also, in the beginning, I mentioned, the closer that she came to death, the more she became. And I remember my mother, I'm in Minnesota in the United States, and she was down in Florida. And all of a sudden I smelled her very distinct 47 Physis.
Yeah,
This perfume, and oh God, it's not one I like. So I was like, all of a sudden I'm smelling this perfume, and she was telling me she's getting ready to leave. And
I just saw a beautiful video yesterday, and of a man who made a pact with his mother. They were very, very close. So if she would pass, so that he would know that heaven is beautiful, that she would give a sign of a red balloon.
Oh, okay.
So they made sure that there is something where they both, and then that appeared.
That's so cool.
He was sure, and they didn't speak to any of the siblings or anyone else. There was really only something for those two. And yeah, it's a beautiful story. I mean, it's not a story, it's a true story.
Right,
But
right.
someone maybe could use that to, the proof. Sometimes we need a proof. In my life, if I remember, and Marita, probably you too, we always said, I need to prove. And we had to have several experiences that were building upon each other. So we said, oh yeah, that's proof enough. And then suddenly, we don't need any proof because we believe. And then suddenly we know,
Right.
even the faith disappears because we know we have the ability. Danke, Puccini. Just 3 hours.
The kitty's agreeing with you, right? Yeah. It's true. That's kind of like how faith is created, with the constant validation. And all of a sudden it's like, I know that I know that I know, and I don't feel like I have to explain or justify it to anybody. It just is. So, well, is there anything else you'd like to say? Oh, who's coming? Oh my gosh, how fun. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to our viewers about the book? And
yeah, they're all many cat lovers, otherwise they probably wouldn't read the book. Yes, take your cat in your arm, feel the vast energy, and sometimes look into their eyes, and because they're the healers. There are healers, they're there for us, and they're always open to go further and walk next to ourselves. And this is like really what we always hope for, right? This unconditional love.
right.
And to experience this unconditional love. Now when they're here, but also when they're gone.
Right.
And
Right.
even if you had one that passed when you were a child, they're still with you and still can communicate with you
Yeah.
and do.
Yes, they do. They walk with us.
Mhm.
Well, this has been so fun. I thank you for your time
Danke,
today.
Marita.
Ja,
Had
bitte.
a lot of fun. I will be all with my shamans in Amsterdam. Have fun. I'll be thinking about your party, and Grace is gonna bring a lot of wisdom,
Mhm.
and it is gonna be a beautiful event, a beautiful celebration.
Thank you. Thank you. And for you viewers, look for the details above or below or whatever platform wherever you're watching this, and look for the details and register so that you can play along with us. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.